Okay, going back to derived units. SI-based units can be multiplied or divided to form derived units. With dimensional analysis, I showed you that you can multiply and divide by units, and they can cancel out or they can square with each other, just like multiplying and dividing with numbers. With derived units, you're going to have to be a little comfortable with this idea of multiplying and dividing by the base units. For example, speed. Speed is distance divided by time, right? That's why the signs on the highway are for miles per hour. It's miles, which is distance, divided by time, which is hours. Miles per hour is not an SI unit. It's an imperial unit. For science, we use meters per second as our units for speed. Distance in meters divided by time in seconds, so our units are meters per second. Volume is also a derived unit. Volume measures the amount of space occupied by an object or substance. If it's a regular solid, something like a cube or a box, you can just measure the length, measure the width, measure the depth, and multiply those together. And you can get units of cubic centimeters, or if it's a larger object, you can get units of cubic meters. If we have a liquid, we usually use a graduated cylinder, which measures units in milliliters instead of cubic centimeters. If you want to measure the volume of an irregular solid, like a rock, you can measure the volume using water displacement in a graduated cylinder. We talked about this a little bit when we were talking about lab equipment. What you do is you fill up your graduated cylinder to a certain number. This looks like it's at exactly 7.0. And then you drop in the rock and you read the new value at 9.0. And you do the subtraction and you find out that your rock has a value of 2.0 milliliters. Now, it's a little weird to talk about a solid in milliliters. And so what we do is we convert to cubic centimeters so that we could compare with other solid objects where we did length times width times depth. You do need to know that 1 milliliter is the same as 1 cubic centimeter. So this is a really easy conversion to make. Instead of saying that my pebble has a volume of 2.0 milliliters, we would just say that it has a volume of 2.0 cubic centimeters. You do have to be careful with conversions involving cubic units. Okay? 1 decimeter is the same as 10 centimeters, but 1 cubic decimeter is not the same as 10 cubic centimeters. This is wrong. Don't think this. Put a big X through it. What is true is 1 cubic decimeter is the same as 1,000 cubic centimeters. The reason why is that because 1 decimeter is 10 centimeters, but then when you cube it, you have to have 10 centimeters times 10 centimeters times 10 centimeters. 10 times 10 times 10 is 1,000. And then our units are centimeters times centimeters times centimeters, giving us cubic centimeters. Okay, so let's look at a couple examples here. If I have 2.6 centimeters cubed to millimeters, how do I do that? Well, I just told you that 1 cubic centimeter is the exact same thing as 1 milliliter. That's my definition. 1 cubic centimeter equals 1 milliliter. Therefore, it's kind of a boring math problem. The cubic centimeters cancel out, the milliliters comes in, and we just get 2.6 milliliters as our answer. How about how many centimeters cubed are in 3.5 liters? Okay, if I go to 3.5 liters, I don't know how liters goes to centimeters cubed, but I do know how liters goes to milliliters, and then I know how milliliters go to centimeters cubed. So I need to know that there are 1,000 milliliters in 1 liter, And I also need to know that 1 cubic centimeter equals 1 milliliter. And those two conversion factors will help me solve this question. So I want to get rid of liters and convert to milliliters. 1 liter down below, 1,000 milliliters up top. Okay, so I've gotten rid of my liters and now I have milliliters. But I don't want milliliters as my answer, so I need to get rid of milliliters again and bring in the cubic centimeters that I want for my final answer. Get rid of 1 milliliter, bring in 1 cubic centimeter. Those milliliters cancel out. I'm going to have just cubic centimeters in my final answer, and I will end up with 3,500 cubic centimeters as my answer. So, dimensional analysis works on these derived SI units, as well as converting between other quantities. I hope this helped.